Let's make a French knot. Okay, so poke your needle up from the back to the front of the fabric where you want your French knot to be, and draw through all of that working thread so that your knot's holding your thread nice and secure at the back. Okay, so with this technique, I'm holding the needle with my stitching hand, and my other hand is actually going to be really helpful. So let's get started with that other hand. Just gently hold the working thread near where it comes out of the fabric. Just hold on a little bit of tension. Okay, so now with our stitching hand, we want to hold our needle reasonably parallel to the fabric. And so the point of our needle's facing our other hand. We don't want the needle up here above the thread. We want it under the thread. And you can just kind of lean the thread against the needle using your other hand to do that. And it's about a third of the way up the needle. Okay, so now we're going to hold still with our stitching hand, and we're going to wrap the thread once and then twice around the needle with our other hand. And I'm just holding a little bit of tension on here. So I'm holding a bit of tension with my other hand, and I'm kind of pushing back a bit with my stitching hand, and everything's just staying in place. You're doing great, so just keep at it. Now, we want to hold that tension on, but we're actually going to move the needle back and poke the tip in just beside where we came up. So I've poked that tip in, and now I'm going to stand the needle up and push it about a third of the way in. As I do that, I'm pulling on a little bit of tension with my other hand, and see how the wraps that I had made around the needle, they've actually traveled down and they're sitting on the fabric. So now you can kind of see what's going to happen as we make our French knot. So I'm going to push the needle down a bit more. It's about a third to a half of the way through now. And then what I'm going to do is I'm still holding onto the needle. With my other hand, I'm just going to hold the thread where it's coming out of the fabric, just nice and firmly against the fabric. I'm holding the edge of the hoop. So now I can actually let go with my stitching hand, and my other hand's just holding everything nice and securely in place. Okay, so I'll actually poke the needle most of the way through now, still holding on with my other hand, and I'm going to reach underneath with my stitching hand, and I'm going to grab the needle. So at this point, you want to make sure that you're not holding too tight with your other hand and like choking the needle with your wraps. Just want a gentle amount of pressure. And now I'm going to pull the needle through to the underside with my stitching hand. I'm going to give it a little swivel for this first bit because it can be a little bit tricky to get it through. I can feel now that it's popped through, and so has the tail of thread. And so I'm just going to gently draw that working thread to the underside. I've been using my other hand to hold things in place, but we're under control now, so I can let go and just really slowly pull that working thread through. And hey, look at that, we've made a French knot.